Hello guys, welcome to Screencast Sports Psychology Goal Setting. So I've told you how important a topic this is, so go to your big picture. So what you're looking at, goal setting as a whole then. The key focus on goal setting is going to be looking at how we can critically evaluate the impact of goal setting on the adoption of a balanced, active, healthy lifestyle. So the first thing we have to do is what are the kind of psychological reasons behind why people set goals. Then we're going to have a look at the factors affect goal setting very briefly. I don't really want you to make too much notes on this. Then we're going on to the big bits of it. So what we've got here then is a critical evaluation of time-based goals and also a critical evaluation of activity-based goals. These two have never come up, okay? They have the word critically evaluated in them, therefore they are hugely likely as a 20-mark question, but we need to make sure that we can both get this in, because the reason why we set goals is directly linked to the evaluation of these two types of goals here. So time-based goals, short, medium, long, activity, performance, process, product. You've done bits on them already for your talk. Now you hopefully will get a better understanding. I'll see how long this is taking, but I will maybe take out some of the evaluations so we can look at them in the lesson. But it's really important that we get this done in a lesson. Okay, so why set goals? So firstly then, goal setting is a vital psychological tool. Now in its purest form, goal setting is based around increasing motivation. You set goals to increase motivation. However, what we're going to look at is saying if you apply these systematically, e.g. kind of in terms of stages at the right points, they can have a massive effect on 5 key points. It can help lower anxiety, or if you set them incorrectly, it can increase anxiety. It can help increase participation. It can make you persist in a balanced, active, healthy lifestyle, whereas you might get demotivated if you didn't have goals. It can raise your confidence if they're set in the right way, and also it can raise your motivation if they're set in the right way. Now, these terms are kind of multifunctional because, obviously, if goal setting is not done correctly, there are severe problems with these terms, and all of these aforementioned kind of reasons why people set goals could lead to a decreased persistence in a balanced, active lifestyle. Healthy lifestyle. So moving on then. So what we're going on to first, factors affecting goal setting. Now when this comes up, when it talks about factors affecting goal setting, this is talking about the SMARTER principle. So I'm going to let you pause that and have a look through it. I don't really want notes, call out notes on this. If you want to do it, you can, but it's something we'll probably have a look at a little bit towards the end of the lesson. So going on from there then, what's really interesting to us is these kind of time-based goals. Time-based goals refer to as short, medium or long term. So what is a description? A short term goal is based around immediate success, e.g. shooting accuracy is a sport example for next game, or the key one I want you to focus on is this, that say it's based on immediate success, so you aim to drop 2 pounds of body weight in the next week. Okay, now short-term goals are most effective if they're incremental. What that means is it starts easy and progressively gets more difficult. So, also, they're most effective if they provide a link. They have an association with what your long-term goal is. For example, you're trying to lose, I don't know, a stone in 3 months or something like that. That will give you a link because the short-term goal is within that. So, it's the most effective type of goals because it gives you that instant increase in confidence and motivation. They're absolutely vital. If you set a long-term goal without any short terms, it can be really ineffective. Okay, going on from there. Medium-term goals. So these goals occurred in a short-term goal sequence. So what we're saying here then, you have this concept of if you're going to have 2 pounds of body weight per week, this would lead to a medium-term goal of being kind of 8 pounds in a month is what you're aiming for. Okay, they are absolutely vital because they endorse the effectiveness of short-term goals. So basically they're acting as like a reinforcer of why you've set the short-term goals. So if you're saying you've done a 2 pound weight loss plan in a week, and then you get to 4 weeks and you've got to 8, it's endorsing the fact that what you've said in your short-term goal is actually working and it's continuing to work. Finally, it acts as a stepping stone to a long-term goal, which is absolutely vital that you can see that there is a bridge between what you've set as a short-term goal and what that final end product, that ultimate aim is going to be. So going on from there, long-term goals. These are the ultimate aims then. This is your big objective. Okay, so as a football striker, it'll be 20 goals in a season. as a dieter, like we're going to use an example of somebody who is clinically obese, okay, and they're starting an exercise and diet program. So all of our examples are going to be linked around exercise and diet. So they might have this concept here that they kind of focus, they have a long-term goal, their ultimate aim and objective is to lose 3 stone in 6 months. Okay, now the key thing about a long-term goal is they should never be set in isolation, because if they are set in isolation, they can be daunting. It can lead to an increase in anxiety, and this could then directly decrease confidence and motivations, and especially for people with who are prone to kind of high need to avoid failure personalities, or they have experienced the concept of learned helplessness. Okay, so I'm sure that makes sense. You say to someone, right, I don't know, they're 20 stone, and you say, right, you've got to lose 3 stone in 6 months. If they've got no stepping stones, e.g. medium-term goals, or they've got no instant success goals, such as short-term goals, they're so daunting. Okay, if you failed in weight loss before and you're just given a massive long-term goal like that, it's going to have a huge effect. So the key thing, they should not be set on their own, because it could lead to those things we talked about in the first slide. Anxiety can lead to a decrease in confidence and motivation, especially for NAF personalities, but also for people experiencing learned helplessness. And then, of course, you know that directly affects your kind of ability to persist and participate in a balanced, active, healthy lifestyle. The final summary on these kind of short, medium and long-term goals are based around the fact that if all 3 goals are used in conjunction with each other, they are in their most effective. Okay, so there's your kind of first section, time-based goals, and you've got those complete. I have given you evaluations as well for those, so what we're going to have a look on now is going on to activity-based goals. Activity-based goals are where you have the depth. This is where you can really get the high marks. So going on to here then, we've got these first two activity-based goals, performance goals. Okay, it's very simple. Performance. You basically have it in your description. The key focus of a performance goal is to improve on your previous performance. So you've even got the word in the description. So what you're saying here then, so it might be somebody who's starting like an exercise and a diet plan. It might be to increase their time on the treadmill if they're walking from 20 to 24 minutes. Okay, so you've got that nice, easy bit of information there. So the difference between a performance goal and a process goal, performance is based upon beating what you did last time, whereas process goals are based upon improving technique. So I've said here, like somebody who's eating 3 big meals a day, you might say to them, right, we're going to change your dieting technique to include 5 small meals a day with a low fat content and a low carbohydrate content. This then will increase the metabolic rate, okay, which could then help with weight loss. So basically you've got these kind of concepts, or your dieting technique might be to not eat any carbohydrates after 5 p.m, 6 p.m, where they're going to be stored as fat and stop you from making any kind of weight loss advancements. So these 2 goals then, performance and process goals, these are very similar. The reason why they're similar is due to the fact that they are based upon self-improvement, individual improvement. So if I went on from here and said, right, evaluation, what you have to do, you have to put performance and a process goal, you have to explain them, you have to give an example. Then you evaluate them together because they come as a pair. So the key thing about performance and process goals, they're so effective because the individual is in direct control, and whatever you're doing, they're self-measured. So basically what happens is, if I can kind of add that to here, the performer is in direct control, the goals are self-measured, so if you can just add that bit there, and they're based upon improving individual performance. Now if you improve your individual performance, this leads to that kind of massive intrinsic motivation component, which is in self-fulfillment. Okay, so from there, subsequently, you have an increase in intrinsic motivation, and if you have intrinsic motivation, that is directly going to link to these things, the reasons why we take part in physical activity in the first place: persistence, future expectation of success, and also future participation. Okay, and furthermore, due to the specific nature of these goals, because you're kind of being very kind of structured and kind of systematic, so you're saying decrease kind of weight by 2 pounds, you're saying that you're going to increase the time on the treadmill by 4 minutes, you're saying you're going to increase your dieting technique or improve your dieting technique. Because they're so specific, there is scope for adjustment. So for example, a performer could start to, if they weren't quite getting the kind of weight loss gains they were after, they might start to decrease slightly the amount of carbohydrates but increase the amount of protein, so they start to feel more full. Okay, likewise, if a treadmill, they might start to slightly tweak the time on the treadmill. If they try to go at 4 minutes as a performance goal, they could then maybe go up and tweak it and say, right, I want to go up, I want to increase my performance, but I'm going to go up by 2 minutes. So the key thing here is you've got that scope for adjustment. Now, the complete opposite to performance and process goals are product goals. Now, product goals are the last type of goals we're going to look at, and these goals are basically in mainstream psychology, they're known as ego orientated goals, and these are just completely based on the outcome or the result. So for example, we've talked about this kind of 20 stone obese individual. They have joined a slimming club, for example, and they go in there and they've got a product goal. They are going to win Slimmer of the Month. That is their focus. Slimmer of the Year. They're going to get the trophy, the big fat trophy that's turned into a skinny trophy, and they're going to be so happy with themselves because they want to win. They want to beat every person in that room. Now, these goals, it's really important to evaluate these goals. Because they're based on competing against others, external factors, this means that they are not self-measures, they're externally measured. This means there's a lack of personal control, which can be really damaging to self-confidence. If you're a need to avoid failure performer, you do not achieve the fact that you're kind of, you're not Slimmer of the Month. That can have a massive effect. It might stop that person from ever going back to that slimming club, and therefore they fall off the wagon, and they are then obese for life. So what I want to do here, before you start writing this bit down, so obviously this is quite a lot of info and quite a lot of technical terminology. So external factors, externally measured, leading to a lack of personal control, which can be damaging to confidence. So for example, you've got certain things on here. So if we're looking at these, lack of personal control, damaging to confidence. We'll finish this bit tomorrow. So fear of failure. Okay, so you imagine you have someone who is thinks failure is inevitable in terms of dieting. Okay, so this fear of failure equals anxiety. This leads to a decrease in persistence. Failure then can have a catastrophic effect on participation. So what does that mean? If a NAF person fails, this leads to internal attributions for failure. Okay, so he's stable, they haven't got the ability, they just can't diet. This leads to learn helplessness, and then they see failure as permanent. As a result of that, your participation and persistence ends up being completely stopped, which causes, your balanced, active, healthy lifestyle to be absolutely terminated. And this is absolutely terrible for someone who is trying to kind of adopt this balanced, active, healthy lifestyle. I'm going to have to stop this now. One, it's going on for too long. Two, it's like a zoo in this room. Okay, thank you.